Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. We are back with the Neptral Tower. Now, the reason I stopped before after beating floor 11, or some reason I just realized I did that by accident, is because I honestly didn't know how to handle this at first. But after playing through the entirety of the tower with Neptune and Blanc, I figured it'd be best to just show off 10 floors with every character. Well, not necessarily every character, but every 10 floors I'm going to switch up the pair basically, but I'm going through the tower as everyone. As you already saw, I went through the tower as Neptune and Blanc. And the good thing about it is, once you get to the 50th floor, regardless of how much you use one or the other character, it will count for both of them. So now I'm going through the tower as Dengekiko and Famitsu. I'm only showing off these 10 floors, like I said. The next set of floors, I don't remember who I show off, but we'll see. Now, for the tower overall, it's really not that hard. I actually went on a couple of forums just to get a general idea of what to expect. They said that the last floor was pretty hard, and I've got to disagree wholeheartedly. I had literally no trouble at all. In fact, I'm already done with the tower as both Dengekiko and Famitsu as of this recording, and the other pair. It was Ramen Ran. Now I remember. Yeah, I already finished it as then as well, and it's really no issue as well if you go in prepared. Now, as you see, I'm going in with my HDD on, but it is possible to beat them even without transforming, especially the last floor, which is just as disappointing as the final boss. And since we already know who the final boss is, y'all know why it's disappointing. They really don't change her that much. You know what, I'm jumping ahead. Let's just stick with what's happening on the screen right now. The next 10 floors, they're no issue as well. The difficulty, it climbs up, goes back down, then stays the same for a good while, then it skyrockets at floor 49, and then it just drops down to pathetically easy by the final floor. It's, I don't know, I guess it's a nice distraction, and it is a fantastic way to not only get medals, but to build up your Lily ranks. As of now, Neptune and Blanc's Lily rank is maxed out. Dengekiko and Famitsu's Lily rank is maxed out. I don't even know if it happens in this video, if it happened in the first 10 floors. Ramen Ran's is maxed out. Basically every pair I go in here with, it'll be maxed out. However, there's a trophy where you have to max out the Lily rank with every possible combination, so it's going to be a while. But I can confirm the hunch I had before, in that you just have to complete a quest and it'll count towards raising your Lily rank up. With that said, I would recommend floor 5 because it's literally just one doo-doo. That's it. So that's a very quick and easy way to build it up. Or just go through this tower. Honestly, you'll get pretty close to maxing it out with whatever pair you go in. And you can do this alone, and it's very doable, because what I noticed is that, I don't know, for some reason I just usually stick with one character for a majority of the time. I'll occasionally switch if the battle drags on a little too long, but for the most part, it's I usually just stick with one character. Oh, I should have said this at almost 4 minutes ago, but this is post-commentary because I forgot to save my recording the last time. So, yeah, otherwise this would have been live. Oh well, I brought up an interesting point when I was doing this live as well. I don't really remember at this point. It'll probably pop back into my head later on. But Dengekiko, for the most part, she can handle this on her own, just because of that paralysis effect. But she's transformed, like right there. Any lightning-based attack can paralyze, except for her special. I don't know. Well, maybe it can. I'm not sure, because I usually just whack the enemy immediately after attacking them. But her whatchamacallit, her ground weak combo can paralyze. She can, after you do, how do I word this? After the end of your light combo on the ground, you can press the triangle button to extend it as well, and then you can launch enemies up with an electrical attack, which also paralyzes, but most of the time it's actually more efficient to just go ahead and combo while they're in the air, like that. For Famitsu, she's better in her transformed state, but she's nothing too remarkable, except for that one move where she rides her lobster. I don't even know if that's a real lobster. I think it's stuffed. I couldn't tell you. But that one move that does hit for quite a bit of damage. It's definitely her best option. And that's really it. Famitsu's not really that remarkable compared to everyone else. I just don't really care for her. Although her combo game in the air is pretty good. She can launch opponents up while pushing them out. But more or less, I don't really use her that much in the tower. I just don't really care for her. So, Oh, the benefits of maxing out your Lily rank. Let's see. I don't remember the levels where you get these effects, but you get double experience if you are knocked out. If one of your characters is knocked out in the pair, they will recover either at a faster rate or they'll recover more HP when they're finally able to come back into battle. Your SP restoration rate is increased, and your EXE drive built up is also doubled. So it's got some nice little perks to maxing out your Lily ranks. It's just some of it's kind of pointless because all this is happening in game. Where I'm already level 99 and right now I'm just going through the tower. So I don't know, maybe if it was something that leveled up a lot faster, I would actually like the Lily rank system in this game, but for the most part I don't really care. I'm really only doing this for a trophy, to be honest. So it is what it is. Oh, now I remember. I think I was dashing earlier like an idiot. I was trying out a trick that I learned while playing as Neptune and Blanc. If you dash and then jump towards the end of that dash and then dash again, you can cover a lot of distance, but only the CPUs and the CPU candidates can do that. The journalists, they can't do that because they actually can't dash in the air, period. I didn't really notice that till I started playing for the tower, but yeah, I don't know if it's because they can float or not. Well, actually no, the CPUs can't float when they're in the regular form, but they can still do that trick. I don't know. I guess it's just to give them a neat little perk or something, because the journalists actually have more SP energy than the regular, than the other characters, because it maxes out at 9999. Although for the CPUs and the candidates, it can max out as well depending on the gear. But oh well. It is what it is, and I think that was for 15? I'm not sure. For the Dugu, because my eyes are kind of glazing over the screen. By the way, Dugu appear on every number that ends with a 5. So floor 5 had Dugu, I think. Yeah, it did actually. That single Dugu that I mentioned earlier. Then floor 15 had the Dugu and more Dugu. 25 will have more Dugu. I see that as more or less a breather floor, even though the tower's easy enough already, but yeah. There is one problem I have with this tower, in that there are some floors that they have just the enemy spawn points too far spread out, and it's really obnoxious with arenas that are so stupidly big. In fact, I would say just each floor is way too big for its own good, with the exception of the higher level floors. And I think they did that to add on to the difficulty, but honestly I would have just preferred the floor to be that size for each fight. It's because you gotta go back and forth trying to make the enemy spawn, and literally all you're doing is just whacking them upside the head, because most, if not all, of the enemies, they just go down in one hit. Well, that's because of my setup, but I don't know, I just don't like the pacing because of that. It just drags on way too long, trying to get to an enemy, and in fact, they don't even actively move towards you until you can actually see them on screen. I didn't realize that before, but every enemy is like that. Even if they're visible on the map itself, if their model's not on screen, they 9 times out of 10 they actually won't approach your character. That's a good strategy for a harder mid quest, but in the case of this tower, I wish they would just come to me all together just to move things along. In fact, I think this is one of the floors where the enemy spawn point is stupid. Let's say, yes, we're gonna see shortly after this. Yeah, that's the move I was talking about earlier. That's pretty much her go-to move for me. It covers a lot of range, and you can control it while she's in that attack animation. That one's pretty good as well. Her specials, for the most part, they're good. The only one I kind of like, man, is where she just leaps into the air and just slams the ground. It's just like, that's one of your combos. Why is that considered a special? There's another one she has. I just don't remember. I think it was one of her. Oh yeah, use scissors. I guess it's good for picking off enemies from a distance, I suppose. I don't remember how far it can travel across the screen though, because I haven't used it in so long. So I can tell you, yeah, this is the floor. I hate this floor. So yeah, the enemies are just gonna spawn in. It's gonna get to a point where they only spawn in one at a time. See those two, they just spawn in on the other side. Again, I wouldn't have a problem with this if the arena was smaller. In fact, the problem wouldn't even be existent if the arena was smaller. But yeah, it's just, this is gonna take a minute or so. Oh yeah, now it's getting to the point where it's just one. Yeah. Sadly, it gets worse on later floors. It's just okay, I want to say that's it. I'm looking at this like, oh my freaking gosh. No, it's not it. Now it's it. Never mind.
Sorry, I work to defeat everything.
I have no idea why I did that. There we go.
I'm not chained to my desk. I just love to work.
Okay, what else did I want to talk about? Oh yeah, I did change my setup from when I started the Neptral Tower out as Neptune and Blanc. Originally, I went with a more, I don't even know how to describe the setup I had before, or do I remember at this point, but now I have the fake necklace and the Bomber Kit EX and some kind of pendant. I'm not sure. You get it from the game industry gauntlet. It boosts up all of your parameters except for your defense. Actually, it reduces your defense to 1 basically. But 9 times out of 10, you won't really let the enemy attack you because, again, you have to let them be on screen. There are some enemies that do attack off screen, mind you, but in the case of the Neptral Tower, for some reason, I don't know, they're a lot more reserved, which is backwards of what I expected. But I do have the fake necklace just in case I do get hit, because that does cut your damage that you take in half. And I also have the hard clothes for everyone on, so I don't have to deal with the costume break. I thought that was a good idea at first, but it turns out since most of my hits are criticals anyway, which is shown by the yellow numbers, there's really no point. I don't even remember if there's another benefit to being a costume break, honestly. As far as I know, no. In fact, you lose defense when in costume break. So, I would say no. Because there are some enemies that can catch you off guard. Mainly from floor 40 and upward. But, aside from that, you shouldn't have to worry about getting hit. Again, this is a very easy mode, and I could have done this earlier, even though the level recommendations do get pretty high. I would say the highest level... Ooh, excuse me. The highest level that they recommend is 90. That's for the final floor, that's a bold face lie, honestly. And I think the floor before that's level 50 or something like that, but yeah. Well, we saw it earlier, so I might be telling a lie on the internet. Whoops. But whatever. Overall, this is a meh mode, in my honest opinion. It can be good for grinding up metals, I suppose, but I already grinded before that. I'm already at level 99. You do get experience, by the way.
Do you?
And Lily ranks, I'm only doing this for the trophy. If I were to come back to this game, and honestly I probably will, because this is one of my favorite games this year actually, I probably wouldn't go for the Lily ranks at all. So yeah, this is just a risky enemy. Never mind. Well, this level, I think the level for this one, the recommended level anyway, was only 20, so it went down relatively easy. But yeah, I believe this is floor. This is floor 20. Yeah. For the reason I showed off floor 11 in the last video is I can't count, honestly. I think past me saw floor 11 on the continue screen and thought, oh, the next floor is going to be 11, but no, it tells you what floor you're currently on. So that was my bad. I should have been paying attention, but oh well. You're seeing floor 11 again on this part, and in the next part we will continue on with the Neptral Tower as Rom and Ram. Thank you for watching. Hopefully it's just regular commentary next time, and I will see you then. Take care, y'all. Pass me. Press now. What am I doing? Why am I leaving this in? Today. Do I even press no?
Perfect.
Okay.